Yes. Alrighty. welcome, everyone. Welcome to the first podcast of the Maestro Show. We have a lot to cover tonight in maybe an hour 15, something like that. This is the first of many. I have a plan to do these every Friday from 8 to 9:15. And I really hope that you all enjoy tonight. And thank you for being here. So tonight, we have a lot on the agenda. Tonight, we got to talk about Microsoft. Microsoft has finally made it. They have finally done the deal breaker. They paid the $68.7 billion for Activision Blizzard. It's crazy, right? I mean, you think about it. Activision has been around since the 70s. The Atari days, right? They made Pitfall and a bunch of really, really great titles. Nowadays, everything has slowed down. Their games like Call of Duty aren't really what they used to be. In my personal opinion, I believe that Black Ops 2 was the last game that really stood out of the crowd. And that's just an opinion of mine. A very favorable opinion of mine. But now Microsoft, since Bill Gates has been gone, they've been buying out all these different game studios and all that stuff. But when they wanted to buy Activision, I knew something was suspicious. You see, Activision is such an old company, and so is Microsoft. And so Microsoft's just like, oh, we need to buy them. This is the perfect opportunity. But Microsoft also wanted to buy Nintendo in 2020, and they also wanted to buy Valve. So Xbox isn't really making any sense at the moment. But they bought Activision. And so since they've paid the $68.7 billion after all these different things with the FTC, the EU, and every other place getting affirmed that they can do this, this is definitely one of the largest acquisitions in gaming history and of one of the largest in the tech industry. It's amazing what you can see in these times of, people wanting to buy other things. It's really, really cool. It's been 21 months since Microsoft announced the deal. It was really, really weird to see. But all in all, it's been a massive hurdle. The CEO of Activision said he would stay on until the very end of 2023 so that he can help transition the company to the ownership of Microsoft, which is really cool. And, it's thoughtful, but you never know. The UK initially blocked the deal in April because they wanted to pause Microsoft to try to appeal of trying and resolving the regulators' reservations over the merger's impact on the cloud gaming industry. It's very fair because, Activision makes games for everyone, every console, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation. And PlayStation finds it unfair that Microsoft is able to buy these companies and have exclusive games. It's really not fair. Xbox is not, in my personal opinion, I love Microsoft products. I love Windows. Okay? I love Windows, their main product. But I don't like Xbox. Xbox to me, the Xbox 360 was a great console, okay? That was the only Xbox I ever loved. But the Xbox One, One S, One X, the series, everything past the 360 is just not that good, okay? Xbox is just like another console. You know, it reminds me of back in the early 80s when the video game crash was coming around. When there were so many different consoles on the market and people didn't know which one to pick. The ColecoVision, the Intellivision, the Atari 7800, the 5200, the 2600. You know, there were so many different consoles on the market that it just did not make any sense. And that's what I think of Xbox. I think of them as Xbox is just another console on the shelf. You know, it does the exact same thing as another console. It's just the same thing. Now, with Nintendo's case, Nintendo makes games only for its consoles. Doesn't make it for anybody else. That's why they're quality games and not quantity games, like Xbox and PlayStation. Or just Xbox. But back to Activision and Microsoft. Activision, you know, Microsoft said that they agreed to sell the cloud gaming rights for Activision Blizzard titles to Ubisoft. That means that not only should the Blizzard games be on Xbox Game Pass, but they'll land on Ubisoft Plus and any other gaming service that it decides to work with. That's really cool. I believe that the most of the concerns for the case come from being, you know, Microsoft taking over Blizzard. That's understandable because Sony has games. You know, Blizzard provides games to PlayStation and Nintendo. And so it doesn't seem right that one of the three competitors, can just buy the company right then and there. That just seems so unfair, right? If you were Sony in their shoes and you see Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, who makes these huge games and stuff like that, Call of Duty, Overwatch, you know, all these different things, you would be pretty upset if that company outright bought that company and you weren't able to have that game be on your console. You'd be absolutely upset. It's just ridiculous. But I believe that there's just so many different things. And a while ago, everybody thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. Nintendo and Microsoft signed a 10-year agreement that would allow for them to offer its titles on their platforms. So we might be able to see Donkey Kong return to Nintendo. So Donkey Kong Country, the rare games, might be coming back to Nintendo. Maybe, possibly, hopefully. Because I would love to see Donkey Kong Country. There's just so much, you know, about this deal that goes on, because there's so many allegations and legal stuff that you have to do in order to buy a company of this stature. You know, Activision also pulled its games, all of its titles, from GeForce Now. I personally do not like GeForce Now. A lot of people do, and it's a great way of playing online games through a cloud gaming service to your computer from an old machine. You know, it's great for people who don't have the money to pay for something like that. I personally don't like it because I've understood over the years how to save money and be able to buy a nice gaming machine. Editing, working, everything. there's a lot at stake for Microsoft. They've been trying to make a push, like Blizzard has been trying to make a push into the mobile gaming industry, like Diablo Immortal. There's tons of other things. They've been wanting to make Call of Duty Mobile, Call of Duty Warzone Mobile, and that's on the way. That's in development. Call of Duty has over 90 million monthly players. That's insane. It's almost as insane as CS2, when in the first 40 minutes, it made over $40 million. Can you believe that? $40 million. That is just absolutely mind-blowing to me. I don't know. That's just really cool. But yeah, there's a lot of things at stake. Microsoft has agreed to allow to keep other Activision games off of off PlayStation platforms, like the Bethesda titles Redfall and Starfield, just because they're exclusive titles, and the upcoming Indiana Jones project, which I actually never knew about until just now. Microsoft, many people believe that Microsoft will help Activision. They'll help clean up the entire alleged toxic workplace environment, culture. Before last year, or like this year, Blizzard paid $35 million to settle SEC charges related to how it handled employees' workplace misconduct complaints, which is pretty bad because you really don't want something like that to happen. It's really not that good to see. But there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of frat boy culture. That's how it was. That's how most of the women described the environment at Activision. It's just incredible. But now that it's closed, a labor neutrality agreement between Microsoft and the Commission's Workers of America will go into effect for Blizzard workers in 60 days. This should make it easier for more of the publisher's employees to unionize. Some of Activision Blizzard's quality assurance workers have already formed unions. Earlier this year, 100 of QA workers at ZeniMax Studios voted to unionize with the CWA, which is amazing. Good to see. Very nice. But there's a lot. There's a lot to see. So, yeah, there's a lot that's been going on. Microsoft, in the final statements of that, Microsoft bought Activision for $69 billion. Well, 68.7, but close enough. They bought it for that much. It was the largest in gaming history and the largest in the industry, which is insane. I can't believe I'm alive to even see that. It's crazy to me how much the gaming and technology industry has changed over the years. Because, I grew up when Windows XP was the most important thing, right? Windows XP came out a couple months before I was even born. and Windows XP was amazing. It was an amazing piece of software. It worked like a charm. It wasn't clunky. You know, it had Space Cadets. An amazing game if you played it. 3D pinball. Amazing product. And then Windows Vista came out, and I was upset. It was awful. Don't ever try Windows Vista, even on a virtual box. Don't ever try Windows Vista. It's horrible. Very, very bad. But yes. So the next thing we want to talk about, I at least want to talk about, is Windows 12. Oh yes, Windows 12. Windows 12 is supposed to be AI powered. AI powered, subscription based. That is absolutely the most dumbest thing I've ever heard. I can just tell you right now, even though Microsoft has the 360 subscription program, you know, it makes it easier to do things, have Word and PowerPoint all in a subscription instead of paying each year for something new. You can get it updated every time. That's nice. But why would you want to pay monthly for, or yearly, for Windows? Answer that. Answer that. That question right there. That is a solid question. Why would you want to buy Windows subscription based? Is there any benefit to that? I mean, you can literally just have Windows 11 and it does the same thing. It updates. You can get updates. You can get free upgrades to Windows. You know, you buy a machine. You know, that's exactly right. You know, they do want the money, and, you know, people will buy it. People are schmucks half the time, you know. They don't know a lot about the technology that's going. But what I find so ridiculous is that why? You know, there's so much that's not been said. And we don't even know if it is subscription-based, if Microsoft will actually do this. It just seems really dumb because Microsoft has never made this Windows a subscription-based service. And if they do it, it'll be the first operating system in history to ever be on a subscription base. I know for a fact that there will be a lot of people who will not buy it. And they will leave and go to Linux. Or they'll even switch to a Mac. Or just keep Windows 10 or 11. I can see it. I can see it in their future. This is just what happens. But let's... Yeah. I'm sorry. I've never really liked Macs. Macs have always been clunky to me. Windows has always been so fast to me. I know exactly what to do. It's so fast, it works. But now they have some development group has made Windows without all the memory hogs. It's called Atlas OS, and if you want to download it, please do. It is an amazing OS reboot of Windows. It is Windows, just with less memory being used, and it's an amazing program. Now, see, that's another thing. Neuralink. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Putting a chip inside of your head, that's what your brain's for. Huh? What are you talking about? Just use your head. Like, honestly, there's nothing dumber than getting a chip implanted in your head and making sure that, a computer is going to give me all the information and the answers. Where's the learning? That makes no sense. But Windows 12. Let's talk about that before I have an absolute meltdown. So it's been 6 years between the launch of two OSs. Windows 11 only appeared 2 years ago, but Windows 10 came out 6 years ago. And major releases came out every 3 years. Every 3 years. At least from Windows Vista on, it's not out of the question that a new Windows is coming relatively soon. But it might be coming relatively sooner than we have actually expected, because Microsoft has reportedly started implementing a new update for Windows, with major versions released every 3 years. That puts a Windows 12 release in 2024. The company previously announced that it would release annual rather than twice yearly feature updates to Windows. In the second half of 2022, we got the Windows 11 update 22H2. And in 2023, we got 23H2. If Microsoft plans to release Windows 12 in 2024, then we might not see 24H2 for Windows 11 at all. Which is true, because, there's a lot of things happening. Like Intel is making a new chip, okay? They're making a new chip of their new lineup. I can't remember what it's called, but it's got a NPU. It's really cool. What it does is it has an AI-powered microprocessor built in so that it can run stable diffusions and all those AI programs that people know and love, like ChatGPT, which I absolutely hate. I hate AI programs, except Stable Diffusion, because it makes really cool art. But it's really cool to see. And I think Windows 12 will definitely use that AI programming. And so perhaps the strongest evidence yet for a 2024 release of Windows 12 is a recent statement by Intel's chief financial officer in which he indicated a boost in PC sales due to the number of Windows coming next year. The new version of Windows coming next year. So we know that it will have a lot of AI features built in that will switch to a lightweight modular code, and that code name is Hudson Valley. I actually like that code name. Hudson Valley is a pleasant name, very nice, very clean. It's not like, I hate that. It's very nice, very clean. We believe that there's another thing that's going on. A peek at a potential Windows 12 came at Microsoft Ignite. It's almost like an E3, but Microsoft related. A conference that focuses on the IT community. Really cool stuff. The company let slip a Windows desktop interface with an altered appearance, which may have assumed represents what we will see in Windows 12. So Microsoft Teams is back, everything else. And, we're going to have the same window. You know how Windows 11 is. It's got the bar down at the bottom. But now it will have a search bar at the top, like how the iPhone has the dynamic island. It'll be that exact shape at the top, but it's a search bar. It'll be really cool. Very cool to see. In the image, it features a floating taskbar, a floating search bar at the top, and system icons relocated to the top right corner. A weather button is in the top left corner. So this thing is going to have the time and temperature and weather and Wi-Fi and all that stuff. So instead of all of that stuff being at the bottom in the taskbar, it's going to be at the very top. It'll be invisible, but you can have your taskbar here, your weather here, and your Wi-Fi here. It'll be flipped for y'all. So on this side, it'll be time and temperature, or time and Wi-Fi, the temperature, and the taskbar. Really cool stuff. It'll, the design tweaks probably wouldn't merit a whole new Windows version. They're nowhere near as drastic as the interface update from Windows 10 to 11. And that's true. It was a very weird step, progression, upgrade. And, Windows 11 didn't have a very good start either. Right? It took them a while to figure out what was wrong with Windows 11. They barked up the wrong tree. They barked up a long tree trying to tell us, oh, Windows 11 is for gaming and how amazing it is. Well, they messed up the first time, like they did with Vista. And Vista never came out to be good ever again. When it first released, it was awful from the get-go, and it never fixed itself. So Microsoft threw it out and said, don't ever remember Vista, or we'll come and steal your money, or something like that. Don't worry, Microsoft. I love you forever. I'm loyal. It was a massive disruption in the Windows users' minds. It really depends. It really depends on the issues. There is a lot of tech that is brand new. Okay, but there is a lot of tech that also is not brand new. You see, and so that's why it makes it a little hard. Because when you're, because you're just like, oh, what am I getting? It could be the exact same thing as before, but just a fancier new upgrade. Well, you really have to dig into the specs, into the spec sheet of, oh, this is a Microsoft product. How much of a jump are we getting from Windows 10 to Windows 11? And that was a huge upgrade. But with Apple, it's the same thing. You can see the upgrade. You can see what's happening. Less memory is being used. Less CPU utilization is happening. A lot more faster speeds, being able to do things quickly. It's really a nice feature to see. I like things going fast. I'm not a very slow guy anymore. When Windows 10 launched, and I remember it well because I was in the Insider program before Windows 10 actually launched. Microsoft stated that updates would come along in between the big updates in a steady stream, using the phrase Windows as a service. So Windows 11 has certainly followed this pattern, and Windows 12 will certainly not be a static, monolithic entity. It will change and add features on an ongoing basis. Keep in mind that Windows 10 in 2020 was a far different and far more capable OS than Windows 10 in 2015. That's because the company rolled out feature updates in the interim. Windows 10 got updates with names like Creators Updates, which changed the OS about as much as the new macOS version did. And it was really cool to see. You got these beta updates and all that stuff. It was really cool. And despite references to Windows 10 as the last version of Windows, Microsoft has made it clear that its practice of releasing both major feature updates and interim updates continues with Windows 11. We have every reason to believe that this is going to be the exact same strategy they will use in Windows 12. Now, this is a big talking point. This is the one that really hits home for me because I despise it so much. The subscription base. The subscription edition. The thing that makes me go, huh? Will Windows 12 require a subscription? Well, we don't know. But for right now, we have known that code watchers have noticed references to subscription edition, subscription type, and subscription status in the code for a Windows Insider build in the Canary channel, the earliest release channel. These references have led to speculation that Microsoft will require a subscription for the OS in the future. And perhaps PC prices will be lower as a result. Further speculation has it that a free ad-supported Windows version it might be available. Ad-supported version. Yes. Yes. So, as we have said before, Microsoft, it's going to be there's speculation that free ad-supported version of Windows 12 might also be available. Another possibility is that these references to subscriptions might just be for business users, which would be a great idea. Instead of making the consumer not a business person, but a consumer who is of the home, I don't believe you should make them pay subscriptions fees because a business would work great on that model. Like the 360 Cloud PC program. That's what businesses do. That's an amazing idea for them, not for the home user. The home user is a very sacred practice. Okay, the home user is somebody who wants to get on the computer and immediately go to whatever they're trying to find, not get all these ads and everything else. Does not compute. These people do not want that. I know. I have worked in this industry before. This is not what people want. But a subscription requirement would surely result in an outrage from longtime Windows users, such as myself and millions of others. That's what happened when Adobe Photoshop first moved to a subscription model, only for many users to eventually pay up, boosting Adobe's profits and enabling the company to develop impressive new features for the imaging software. And Windows 12, we saw on, I think it was Twitter, that Windows got a new form of AI tools called Windows Copilot. And this was cool because there was a lot of different things like Bing, the Bing AI, and a bunch of different stuff. It was really cool to see. But it has brought the new Windows 11 update, brought powerful new artificial intelligence tools in the form of Windows Copilot. It's already impressive and powerful, though it can stand to have more PC control capabilities. This kind of user-facing predictive and assistive tools should only get stronger in Windows 12. And AI technology can also improve back-end things like code stability and update delivery. Prior to Copilot, Windows Search Panel and the default Edge web browser included the new controversial and conversational search powered by AI. It was amazing to see, and it does work, but it's not always correct, so don't trust it. A recent Windows Insider blog post mentioned a recommended section in File Explorer that suggests files and folders you are likely to want to open. That's weird. I don't want that thing to know what I'm doing. This is a feature noted as being for users signed into the Active Directory accounts. If they bring back user control accounts, I'm going to lose my mind. That sucked in Vista. It was absolutely awful. Vista was a pile of junk. Okay, that's why I got rid of it so quick. I downgraded to XP and I was like, yes, XP. I was happier. Another way the new OS can use AI is to suggest user actions, even beyond the simple File Explorer suggestions. In an article, this person says, I'm hoping that Copilot gets wake word capability so that you can use it hands-free as you could Cortana. And I hated Cortana. Cortana was annoying because every time it would come up, it was like, oh, do you need help? Do you need help? No, I don't need help. I know exactly how to get there. Thank you. So there's going to be a new thing with Windows 12. Along with the AI, the concept of a modular version of Windows has been floating around for at least 5 years. Sometimes referred to as Core OS, sometimes Core PC, a modular Windows would separate out OS components, making for smoother updates and better security. It would also allow Microsoft to tailor instances of Windows to specific platforms and use cases, which is amazing to see. Some of these instances may not need the ability to run all those huge legacy Windows applications. For example, saving system resources by omitting them, support for them. That's amazing. That is exactly what Atlas OS did. They took all of that stuff that Windows 11 does. It rips all the memory stuff out of there, throws it in the trash, and it's amazing. I haven't really seen about Tesla. Which company do I think has the current best tech? Ooh. In phone space, Apple. Easy. Okay? Apple is definitely on top of the phone industry. They are at the very top. They are number one. And I believe that Microsoft is at the top of the computer space. There is nobody who's going to get above Microsoft. Microsoft has been in this industry for so long. So has Apple, but Microsoft has been in this industry for so long that it's just unfathomable. Microsoft products can, the Windows can run anything. Macs cannot. They can't run Titanfall 2. They can't run Watch Dogs. They can't run a bunch of different programs, right? Macs can't. Macs can't run that. And Windows can. Windows can run everything. Except Mac programs. I could probably run that too. But the prime example of this core-based approach was Windows X, which never reached full release status. And the reason why is because it was it was too early for the time. The idea behind it was to create a lightweight OS that would compete with Chrome OS. In the end, Microsoft used some of the Windows X interface concepts in Windows 11, such as the centered taskbar. I mean, the centered taskbar is okay. It looks like the dynamic island in Apple's phone, but I don't know. If you really want to try it out, look at new features for the operating systems, join the Insider program. I'm currently a part of it. I don't download the updates, though, because I'm a loser. I am very much a loser in that regard. No, I don't want it. Anyways, but join the Insider program, Windows Insider program. It has 4 options from the highly experimental and unstable Canary channel through the dev, beta, and release preview channels. Insider features have included interface tweaks, such as the redesigned volume indicator, new included apps, such as the media player, the new capabilities in existing OS features, such as tabs for Task Manager, and so much more. Currently in the Canary channel are a redesigned widgets board, increased USB 4 support, so that's going to be crazy. It's going to be really wicked fast, and new ways to install apps from the Microsoft Store. Now, if that's not awesome, I don't know what is. As expected, these builds also include bug fixes and performance optimizations. Really cool stuff. But if Windows 10 is a subscription base for the home, I will not be getting it. I'm sorry, but I won't. Because I am not paying monthly or yearly for a new Windows. Okay, that is not how this has been over the last 40 years. That's just not how it's been. You know, it's never been that way. And I don't believe that it should start being this way now. Because there are things that nobody should pay subscription for. Like Discord. Huh? Nobody should pay money for Discord. Discord is a place to create friends and have a community, not pay this person for their server or buy cool emotes or whatever. You can get those for free. You know, that doesn't really make sense to me whatsoever. It just doesn't. Never has, never will. Twitch, I can understand that. Twitch, I can understand the subscription model that they have. I can understand Apple Music, you know, being able to use a subscription to listen to all the newest music and have Dolby Atmos, all these cool audio features that can improve your headphones and your listening experience. That's definitely 100% the coolest way of using a subscription-based model. But there are so many different things that you can do, you know. In the percentage of Windows users, Windows 11 is still only around 24% worldwide and 26% in the US. So how the percentage point represents about 14 million units, and every new PC ships with Windows 11. And this number will certainly grow because nobody's downloading Windows 12 if it's subscription based. I can already guarantee you, unless you're a schmuck, and then you're just like, oh, it's subscription based, I'll pay it, I've got money. You won't have money after Microsoft takes it all from you. Sorry, Microsoft, I'm loyal, but I hate that idea. I hate that idea of subscription based for Windows. It's never been that way. don't do it now. Do it for business. Make the businesses pay for it. Don't make us pay it. Don't make the home consumer pay for it. That's what the whole computer was made for. When Steve Wozniak made the Apple II, he was like, we want to make a computer for people in the home that makes it easy to do tasks that are hard to do already. Like writing down, keeping notes of who to call and stuff like that. That's what that was for. Why do we need a subscription in order to do that? We don't. So don't do it, Microsoft. It's not a good idea. It's never been a good idea. There's tons of more things. A short little thing. If you guys want to talk about anything Microsoft related, tech related, please let me know. I will definitely get to your questions. But if you want to visit Microsoft, Microsoft.com, visit them. They're great. They've been doing business for over 40 years. So, they've been going strong. But now this one hits close to home because I use this product, at least Streamlabs. The Stream Deck has a new paid app store. And so, Elgato was bought by Corsair in 2018. And, Corsair has been doing a lot of restructuring and making their company a lot better and organized. So this is just going to change everything with the whole dynamic of the Steam Deck and being able to use things to sync asset types faster, automatically, and making setup really easy. Amazing. It'll be really cool to see. I don't have a Stream Deck. I want one. I also really want a capture card so I can play Nintendo games on stream. Or in videos. Just capture videos and stuff like that. Really cool. Yes, that's a good statement. But here's the thing. The thing about Microsoft is that, or about the people working at home, in the U.S., companies are no longer going to allow people to work from home as much. They're going to require them to be in the office. And that's just how it is, And yes, they do know that people will charge a lot of money for these things. It's just the way of the world. Yeah. Exactly. There is, a lot of people don't feel the same. A lot of people like to work from home, right? I feel like if you're a computer scientist, though, you should be able to work from home, But yeah, there's a lot of new things coming in the tech industry. A lot of things are coming and going. An interesting fact is that Best Buy will no longer carry physical movies in 2024. That's crazy. Exactly. You can have the same setup at home as in the office. That is very true. That is 100% true. But yeah, Best Buy will no longer carry physical movies in 2024. I mean, DVDs and CDs are outdated at this point. Okay? I grew up with them as a kid. I grew up with VHS. That was just life. But then you realize that everything's going digital. That's just how it is. I don't know how to tell you any other way. It's just going digital. And that's why PlayStation updated their PS5 to look much nicer and sleeker. Yeah, I had a lot of VHS tapes. I also made VHS tapes, so like movies and stuff. It was really cool. Interesting. On Apple TV, I never knew this, but on Apple TV, there is a new show about Godzilla in Monarch. It's the show called Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Godzilla's back, baby? I hope so, because I've watched every single Godzilla movie there ever was. So amazing. Yeah, that's right. Netflix is planning to launch retail destinations in 2025. Part shop, part restaurant, part immersive entertainment. What? In 2025, Netflix will finally build a building, a bunch of different places called Netflix House, that will allow you not only to just buy things like food and like movies and stuff, but also other things. Movies, TV shows, food, all these things. Restaurants, shops, and immersive entertainment. I don't know why Netflix would want to do this, but they have the money to do it, so hurrah to them. But that just seems so weird to me. Netflix, out of all things you could have done, why this? They're going to call it the Netflix House. And it's going to release in 2025. It's going to be like a movie theater, but it's like a shopping center, almost. Like an old-style shopping center, which housed a movie theater, a restaurant, and a store. All in one. That sounds like a mall to me. A Netflix mall. That would be funny. Netflix mall. Mall of Netflix. Hey, that's a good idea. That's a good name. Nvidia is raising the price of GeForce Now, but not in the US. Why? We don't know, but the US is out of control, money-wise, I guess. That's just how it is. It'll be interesting. Yep. GeForce Now is already shut down in Russia as of October 1st. They're testing out the GeForce Now RTX 4080, the most advanced cloud gaming platform yet. They've been doubling the prices and stuff like that. It's going to be really, really weird. But Nvidia has been doing some really good work so far. And I'm kind of glad to see it. There's just a lot going on. And, NVIDIA has been making products since, 1996, 1997, 1998, 1999. It is amazing to see how far they've come over those years. Because when I was growing up, graphics cards were not as popular as they are now. Okay, nobody talked about graphics cards. It was just like, oh, it's just there. It's not, oh, we're going to be playing a game and we need this high-end graphics card. Every game could be played on a computer back then. You didn't need, this expensive hardware to play it. And now you do. And it's worth $2,000 for a graphics card. Ridiculous. But that's just the world we live in. YouTube will be the latest large platform to face EU scrutiny regarding the misinformation. Comcast cable internet with 2 gigabit uploads is rolling out soon. Comcast? Hello, Comcast. Have you actually been knocked in the head and are thinking straight for once? Good job, Comcast. I'm proud of you. You're doing an okay job. Yeah, but there's so much in the news nowadays. I'm excited for... I'd say I'm pretty excited for just everything in general. I'm excited for the new Intel processors that are coming. SpaceX, I know about them a little bit here and there. I've dabbled in SpaceX a little bit. But yeah, I'm really excited for... I actually saw the Starlink satellites flying over. Or in the rotation. It was really cool to see. So... yeah, the boosters that return back to Earth. Yeah, that's true. But I'm excited for the new Intel processors that are coming. The Core... I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called... oh, man, I can't remember what it's called. It's called Core something. It's called Core something. Core Ultra? Is that what it's called? Yes, Sloth. Good to see you. Yes, it's called the Core Ultra. That is what it is. And it's releasing in December. December. Out of all times on the planet, December. You've always wanted to do one of these shows before. Here we go. Here we are. We're finally here doing it. Finally putting it together. And we are going to be doing this show every Friday from 8 to 9:15. We might run a little over because it is the first show. But it just depends on how much information we have. But I think for this, we're going to talk about the Intel Core Ultra CPU with AI processing engine coming in December. This will be really, really cool. It's got it's a small processor. this time around. It is going to be amazing. I think it's going to be really fast too. It's going to be perfect for Windows 12 whenever that comes out. Maybe next year. Hopefully. I'm not buying it if it's subscription based. It's going to be so Intel, actually, good question. We just got a question. Is this going to be Core i9? Well, we don't know. It is called the Core Ultra series now. And so I think they're going to get rid of the name i9, i7, i5, i3 and just replace it with Ultra. Ultra 1, Ultra 2, Ultra 3, Ultra 4, maybe. Or Ultra 3, 5, 7, and 9. We don't know. We haven't heard anything. But we know that it's based on the 7nm Intel 4 processor chip. That integrates the new Intel Arc graphics architecture. So the onboard graphics will be okay, but not great. The names are confusing. This is very true. Names are definitely very misleading and definitely not as understandable. But it's going to be the first on the Intel 4 7nm chip. It's going to be using an EUV technology. It's going to have support for Thunderbolt 4, 3D performance hybrid architecture. It's going to have a built-in NPU AI engine. It's going to have the efficiency cores, so low power cores and a bunch of different stuff. Wi-Fi 7 support. Feveros 3D packaging. A new P-core and E-core microarchitecture. So performance cores and efficiency cores. Built-in Intel Arc, and the latest media and display standards. That is amazing. Amazing to see. I'm definitely excited for what is coming. They believe, along with the NPU and what Intel claims will be the impressively power-efficient performance, thanks to the 7nm process technology. It'll have the ARC graphics architecture. This will be the first consumer CPU to feature a multi-chiplet module design. It'll use 2 or more silicon slices which contain the transistors that power a computer, called dies. So a transistor actually it's a semiconductor device. Okay. A transistor, it depends on the shape of the transistor. But a transistor looks many different ways. On the breadboard I was building on earlier, I have a transistor on my board. And what it does is it's able to take, there's a ground, there's a drain, and there's a source. So it can take in voltage, it can drain the voltage, and it can connect. But this design is going to feature, like I said, 2 or more silicon slices which contain transistors that power computers, called dies, that are bonded together at a microscopic level to allow for more flexible chip development than is possible with a single slab of monolithic silicon companies have used in the past. Amazing. Really, really something to see. The MCM design will be backed by Intel's Foveros packaging technology, which is the same chip bonding technology that went into the ill-fated Lakefield chip that powered some of the low-power mobile devices that were poorly received and so was quickly put into end of life. So they're putting on some really high stakes here. While there were many issues with the Lakefield chips, other than the Favreau's packaging that kept it from being successful, the Core Ultra chips represent a major design shift for Intel processors. Bigger even than its move to a hybrid core architecture with Intel Alder Lake back in 2022. So Intel is putting a lot of faith in this tech to power its future chip development. I'm excited for Intel, but I hope that they can finally reduce the temperatures of their processors because those things get so hot. I think I saw that it got up to 132 Fahrenheit at full blast. That's ridiculous. 132 degrees Fahrenheit. Can you imagine what that's like? Getting burned by a processor? Just touching it and getting burned? No, I bet you can't. I bet you can't. But there's so much going on. Acer is joining up with Intel to be one of the first to display the chip in a version of Intel's processors. There's a toolkit that will be optimized to utilize the NPU, the Neural Performance Unit, Neural Processing Unit. Yeah. It'll help make practical development of AI applications easier and more appealing for both developers and consumers. Really, really cool stuff. They also showed off the new processor running Stable Diffusion. Really, really cool. But the new, so I think these processors are going to be a lot different than the new ones. Yes, I am right, actually. It is going to be called, it's going to have the 4 numbers as well. So it's going to be called the Ultra Core 3, 5, 7, and 9. And they're going to be very interesting to see. I wonder if they're going to be the 14 series. Because they've already got the 14900K. It's not out yet, but they know that it's coming. And I don't know if that's the Ultra series or what. That's someone already has a picture of the 14600K. It's going to be expensive. Very, very expensive. They leaked the prices online. Huh? Meteor Lake processors. This thing's going to be awesome. So interesting. So they're dropping the I guess. Maybe not. That's very weird. Okay, wait. So Meteor Lake is going to be the first one. Meteor Lake's going to be the first one with the Intel Core Ultra series. The 1400, the 14th series is going to be under still the i7, i9. Or it's just going to be i7, I believe. We don't know. But then there's going to be the other ones, which is the Core series and all that other stuff. Really, really interesting to see. If it's not a 14900 or something like that, I don't know. What it says here is that Raptor Lake HX and Raptor Lake S, which is the 14th series, is going to be the i7s. Meteor Lake and Raptor Lake U is going to be the first generation of Core Ultra series processors. They're going to feature Ultra 7 processors and other stuff. They haven't really figured it out yet. But they say that it's going to be thin and light notebooks. It's not going to be a desktop processor quite yet. I think the desktop processors are going to stay as the Core series, and then the Core Ultras are just for thin and light notebooks. So, not the greatest thing, but, it is what it is at that point. You have to do what you have to do. And if you guys are watching at home on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ask some questions. If you guys have any questions at all, this is the first show, so ask away. Yes. Yes, I am. Yes. Okay, why is that on? Restream has done something that I'm very appreciative of. Not made me pay to use two platforms. It's free. You can do 2 platforms free. That's amazing. I love that. I love that idea. It's perfect for me. I don't really want to pay all that money for something like that. It's not worth it. It's really not that worth it. Yeah, but there's a lot going on in the tech space. I'm excited for what's coming. It'll be very, very interesting to see. I'm excited for the new Switch, or whatever Nintendo's calling it. They're calling it NG. That's the code name. I'm excited to see that. That's very cool to me. Very dear to me because I'm a very big nerd. I've always loved electronics since I was 2 years old. It's just my life. I can't help it. But yeah. I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the tech world. I'm excited for the next Maestro Show. Might have to do a little bit of tweaking in the name, but, it is a work in progress. So, it'll be very interesting. We could do MTSO. I have no idea. It just depends. We'll have to figure out the name. The name is a work in progress. I think we'll keep it. The Maestro Show is just whatever. Everybody knows that I'm passionate about engineering and electronics and stuff. So it's just my life. The Maestro defines the master of everything. Right. So we'll probably just leave it at that. It is going to be a very interesting week. Yeah, it'll be very interesting. But on Twitch, guys, we are trying to get to an average of 3 viewers, so we can hit affiliate. So that's cool, I guess. But on YouTube, my YouTube family, the people I've been with the longest, new videos are coming. They will be so much better than they were before. They will be of greater quality, and they will be not just entertaining, but they will be informative and beautiful. And I hope you all enjoy watching them. I hope you learn something from them, and I hope you can sit down and say, "Oh yeah, I can relate to that. I love this. This might be a new hobby for me." I hope you can do that. And thank you all for joining me tonight. And I really, really hope that you enjoyed this talk show, this podcast, this brand new show that we have going on. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you next Friday, because we are not streaming until next Friday. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you YouTube family and Twitch family very, very soon.